Good day, it's Dr. Rapiti. Welcome to another video. It's Sunday, the 6th of October 2024. And today I want to read a tribute I wrote to a colleague, Dr. Jackie Stone, who passed away very tragically. And I'm going to read the tribute to you because I think it's going to be serving of historical benefit and purposes. So here goes. Yesterday, people from all over the world, from all walks of life, were hit by the harsh and shocking news that the vibrant, intelligent, humble and caring daughter of Africa, COVID hero and visionary of an alternative healthcare model for Africa, ended her life tragically and suddenly. I, like many of you, am trying to come to terms with this shocking news. As someone with a keen interest in mental health, I vividly recall contacting Jackie when she was about to appear before the Zimbabwean Medical Board for a disciplinary hearing for saving the lives of millions of people. And I asked her if I could arrange a fund to cover her expenses for impending court cases. Jackie, in a typical stoic style, reassured me that she was fine. In hindsight, I'm sorry that I did not persevere on my instincts and come to her aid. Today, as I reflect upon her death and the way she ended it, I can only imagine what pain and suffering she endured after she was callously stripped of her license by the shameless, cold-hearted board members who didn't give a hoot about the millions of lives that Jackie saved in Zimbabwe and the rest of the world. She became the revered hero all over the world with her simple, inexpensive approach to tame COVID. But that didn't seem to matter at all to the ignorant, captured members of the medical board. She achieved this mammoth feat in Zimbabwe when patients in countries with the most amount of resources and most sophisticated technology were dying in droves. A normal society and an untainted medical board would have bestowed the highest medal of honor on Dr. Stone for her unselfish dedication and sacrifices to save humanity for one of the deadliest contrived pandemics in the entire history of the world. Instead of celebrating Jackie as a hero, her dubious medical board colluded with the equally dubious judiciary and ruthlessly stripped her of her medical license, and she futilely tried 27 times to defend herself to a board of members who knew nothing about COVID. These members had no clue about how to treat COVID, yet they had the temerity and gall to try this hero. It leaves me to wonder if this board ever really cared about the lives of ordinary Zimbabweans. If they did, Jackie would have still been with us alive today and rightfully walking down the Hall of Fame. When Jackie was stripped of her license with absolutely no chance of regaining it, the chilling reality and futility of her lifelong ambition to serve the poor, desperate citizens of Africa, Asia, and South America must have hit her like a ton of bricks and destroyed her spirits and her soul. From that moment on, her life must have been shattered. She was stripped of her livelihood, her dignity, and consequently, her will to live. It must have been a terribly hard blow for her, from being a totally independent person to suddenly join the ranks of the millions of unemployed Zimbabweans and to find ways to obtain the basic necessities of life for herself and her family in order to survive. It must have been a sad, depressing and lonely life for someone like her, who was bubbling with ideas and enthusiasm to create a new system of healthcare for developing countries, to suddenly discover that she's become an overnight non-entity. I can identify with her after being in practice for over 4 decades. How important it is to continue practicing the art of medicine during one's lifetime. Doctors survive and thrive when they feel relevant and are allowed to the freedom to contribute to the well-being of their patients that they serve. Doctors whose entire lives are immersed in their work lead very lonely lives. Their patients are often the only people they can communicate with, apart from their families. This is especially true in the discipline of family medicine, where you get to know your clients like the back of your palm through the years of association with them. The sad reality is that all the grateful people who heaped their praises on Jackie when she was in the front line saving millions of lives at a huge personal cost to our health have all receded into the cocoons into their safe havens and their cocoons. And Jackie was left to brew in her sadness, totally alone, contemplating an empty future, void of any meaning. Jackie's sad and tragic end should be a grim reminder to medical professionals all over the world that we are highly vulnerable to taking our own lives when we are denied the right to earn a living, especially on totally unfair grounds, which I believe is what was her situation. It does not mean that because we heal our patients from physical and mental illnesses that we are not vulnerable to heart attacks and depression. We too are made of the same flesh and blood as our patients. We need to take care of ourselves in order to serve to the best of our ability. It should not come as a surprise that doctors, and especially psychiatrists, have the highest suicide rates compared to people in all other professions. The medical associations are aware of it and this high suicide rate, but they just turn a blind eye to it and send a bouquet of flowers to the grieving families. Sending flowers is not enough. We need to be proactive and set up an organizational platform for doctors with serious life issues to obtain help. It is clear that the world failed Jackie and doctors like her terribly for not anticipating her needs and not coming to her rescue when she needed it most. It's the least that society could have done for this brave hero who sacrificed so much, gave so much, and asked for so little in return. Having worked in a Gestapo COVID era, I will never forget the prevailing fear at the time if you were a doctor who tried to save your patients using unconventional methods or dared to speak against the narrative. We lived in the constant fear that the dictatorial captured authorities were going to swamp on you and immediately charge you as an abominable criminal, whilst the despicable media was waiting on the wings to annihilate you from the face of the earth. I had one such experience with the NPR journalist who came to me like an angel, took my story, and like a typical castrated journalist thug, dancing to the tune of his superiors, described me in the most disparaging terms as a horse doctor. Yes, Dr. Stone went through hell in her own private manner. Typical of her stoic personality, she never shared it with anyone. I have the greatest admiration for her as a person and for her contribution to society in the world's darkest era in its history. We have lost a great doctor and a great humanitarian with a great vision to help Africa. Apart from being a great doctor and tutor, Jackie was an avid student. Hence her respect and willingness to have people from alternative disciplines like Ayurvedic medicine and traditional African medicine to share their knowledge freely on a campus Zoom meetings to the general public. Out of my gratitude and recognition for her sterling contribution to society, I would like to set up a Jackie Stone Foundation to assist her family for the immense sacrifice Jackie made for the benefit of the whole of society. We cannot bring her back, but let us honor her in her absence by helping her family, who paid the price for Jackie's unwavering commitment and sacrifices to help society. Finally, I not only mourn the death of this great hero, Jackie Stone, and many doctors like her, I also mourn the fact that we are living in an era where the world has lost its moral compass. We are living in a time when selfish academics and professors and doctors from universities traded their ethics for a few ounces of silver and destroyed the lives of so many ethical, caring doctors and their careers like the late Jackie Stone. It's time for honest citizens to rise and make their voices heard to regain our moral compass. Let Jackie's tragic death serve as a catalyst for society to get out of its slumber and save the world from further depravity and sickening decay. Goodbye, my dear friend Jackie. The world will remember you long after you've gone. You've served humanity to the best of your ability, and for that we salute you. Thank you, Dr. Rapiti. May your family cope with your loss in peace. God bless. Dr. Rapiti.